guys, welcome back to the AFP podcast. I got my good friend Craig here again, seeming to be like a all the time kind of thing, which is funny because the original idea of the podcast, Craig, if you remember, was going to be me and you doing a sport karate podcast.
Yeah. There's now about 20 of them around, isn't there?
They're all over the place now.
Yeah.
But this works out just as good anyway. So today we're going to talk about the Cobra Kai series, a series that both of us have watched countless times. Craig just got done watching it today for how many? Was it the second time through it?
My second time through, all the way through season 3 again, but my fifth time through 1 and 2.
Man,
I think.
Perfect. Yeah, so I've watched it countless times too. So to start off with it, I'm going to assume that everyone knows that like it is the quote unquote sequel to the Karate Kid movies. All right. And, being martial artists, and not just martial artists, but we're also competitors and we're, coaches. So like there's a lot of this stuff that like, I feel like we really kind of get into that maybe the normal person doesn't understand. So to start off, so the Karate Kid, what was your like experience growing up with the Karate Kid movies?
No, I didn't like them that much when I was younger. I just always found that kick annoying. Like that kick used to bug me. I was like, everything was good, and then that kick. And to be fair, I always found LaRusso annoying. Like I would have wanted to be a Cobra Kai from the movies. Like even though I know Daniel was the good guy and all that stuff, like I love the Karate Kid for Cobra Kai and all of their gear as well, all their stuff. Like all I can remember is them jackets. Them red jackets were the coolest things ever. I probably watched Karate Kid quite a lot as a kid. I liked 1. I found 2 a bit weird. 3 was even weirder. but arguably the funniest and the best.
Oh god.
And then there was a 4, wasn't there? There was a 4.
There was. It was I think it was Beyond Karate Kid. It was with Hilary Swank.
Yeah, that was
it's where Miyagi trains the girl.
Yeah.
Or no, it was the next Karate Kid. That's what it was called.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And then obviously there was the Kung Fu Karate Kid that came out.
The one with Jackie Chan that had zero karate in it.
Everyone was set in China. There was probably a massive insult to anyone who does karate.
Oh yeah. All the traditional, Japanese and Okinawan guys are probably highly offended.
Yeah. But oh my god, I did enjoy it as a kid, and I watched it a lot growing up. Even though I didn't do martial arts till I was 15, I'd still probably seen it 5 or 6 times before I actually really took an interest in martial arts. And then I got really picky with it because I didn't like that. Once we start fighting, sometimes you watch it back and go, "Oh, the choreography needs a bit of work." Like,
oh yeah,
and I don't necessarily pick people that have done martial arts to play martial arts roles. So no, it always bugged me. It always bugged me, but. I did I even if I watch it back now, I love it. I love it. Like the first movie when I watch it back, it's just I could watch that movie once a week. I mean,
so I'm pretty similar. Like when as a kid, I hated the Karate Kid movies. Absolutely hated them. And did you ever get the thing where if someone found out that you did martial arts, they would they would do the crane pose to you? I hated that. And that was the dumb. Oh, you do karate, and they would put one leg up in the air, hold their arms above their head like a moron, and I hated that because that became the normal person's perspective on what karate is. Oh, it's crane kicks, and didn't like the first movie. The second movie gets into some weird terms oh now he's he just got done winning a tournament, now he's doing death matches, and then the third movie is oh. Now he's having to deal with evil, multi-millionaire corporation owners who, want to beat up a high school kid, I guess.
It gets progressively worse for him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The stakes for him got just increasingly higher and higher. But I did before Cobra Kai came out. I was like, I'll go back and watch them, and I appreciate them more as an adult. Like I could not watch them every week. I couldn't do that. But I like them more, as an adult now versus when I did as a kid. And something I've been telling people is Cobra Kai, does a lot of nostalgia stuff. There's a lot of flashbacks, a lot of callbacks. They bring back old characters and stuff like that. And especially with the third season, what I've been telling people, because everybody I feel like has seen the first Karate Kid movie. There's some people who've never seen 2 and 3. Yeah. Rightfully so. I get it. But I've been telling people, I told my sister this and a friend today. I go and watch Karate Kid 2 and 3. Get through the goofy fight scenes, get through the goofy villains and all that kind of stuff. Because like when they do those callbacks and those little nostalgia moments, it's going to feel way better.
Yes.
Like every time they would do one of those flashback scenes in the show, like I would feel it a little bit. You know what I mean?
That's how I don't
even like those movies.
Yeah.
But it's like the evolution of the characters that I really like.
Yeah. They take you right into the world. You start feeling like, hang on a minute, like this is a bit more real. Like I feel like if you watch them back after watching Cobra Kai, the movies are 10 times better.
Yeah, I bet.
I watched the first one a couple of weeks, about maybe a month ago. And we watched 2 as well. That was still difficult, but watching 1 again was so awesome, man. It was unbelievable. Like when you're thinking like, oh yeah, when you said you're seeing the movie from LaRusso's point of view, but Cobra Kai from Johnny's point of view, and you start kind of like looking out for them little bits. Hey, no, Johnny said that in Cobra Kai, and then it's like you get all the little flashbacks. Oh, that's what happened. It's so weird. It's like almost feels like it was a real event.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm forcing everyone I know to watch it, man. Like our whole school has watched it now, even the kids.
I'm telling all my students, man. Make sure you guys watch Cobra Kai. Make sure you guys watch Cobra Kai so we can discuss it. So then let's kind of get into that. So what is like your overall take on the Cobra Kai series?
So I didn't watch it originally because I was like, oh, this is going to be ridiculous. Like, what are they doing? My dad got that free trial on YouTube when it was first out, where YouTube Red. And he was like, you've got to watch this. He was like, this is the best thing ever. And I was like, oh no, I put it off for like 2 months. Like Dad watched it as soon as it came out. So I put it off for a couple of months and he was just relentless. He was like, it is amazing. Like you need to watch it. And he kept going on about it. And I was like, all right. And I watched it and literally, I love the intentional cheesiness. Like that's what bugs me. People, they're like, oh, it's too cheesy for me. But I'm like, that's the genius of this is that they know it's cheesy. They're doing it intentionally. Like it's like that whole 80s vibe, isn't it? Like I love it, even though it's set in the modern day. Johnny hasn't moved out of the 80s at all. And it's just I just love all of the music, the cars, everything. Like I love it. I think I really enjoy the music as well. I think it's awesome. But there's just so many things. It has me as a martial arts instructor. He says all of the things that we've thought of saying about people or to people that we've never been allowed to say.
Yes.
Like he literally he's living our dream. Like he's driving the car we all want. Like I know his life's not kind of going perfectly, but the things he says, it's just like it's an intentional, constant dig at political correctness, and it's just it just has me. It has sometimes I'm on the on the first watch, some of the things he was saying and doing, I could barely breathe. Like. It was so funny, and I do honestly. I feel like I don't know if you have them so much over there. We have soap operas here that go on every day. Like they're on TV Monday to Friday every day, and they just roll on forever. Like I wish that Cobra Kai could just continuously run and never end.
Yes.
Like, I think it's the first thing we've ever had. I think you can feel it as a competitor. You can feel it as a coach. You could probably feel it as a student. But because we're all three of them combined, it's literally like a weird sort of like exaggerated version of a day in our lives. Like that's how I feel, and I'm like, I when I go to class, like I feel like I'm in it now. Like it's wicked. Like I feel like I'm in Cobra Kai. I tell them, well, when we're allowed, I know we're locked down at the moment. When we're in person, I'm like, I feel like we're there. Like I'm like, yes, like like that whole feeling it gives you is with me when I go to class, and I feel like I don't know. I finally feel like we're the cool thing to do, but like almost like it's given me like a real fresh feel to what we do as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's revitalized my teaching in a weird way because I'm like, I've got something to like, we've never had anything to connect with on a TV for our job. Like, when have you ever, every other sport or something seems to have like a TV show or a documentary where it follows the competitors around in somewhere. Yeah, movies. Yeah, like you look at like, I don't know, there's that like cheerleading. There's that big cheerleading show on on Netflix. I think if you're a cheerleader, you probably watch it and go, yeah, oh, that gets me going. Like, but we actually have that with our job, competition and training all at once.
Oh yeah.
Like, it like fully like completes my like
Yeah,
interest and
I think
stuff.
the only thing that would come close would be the old movie Best of the Best.
Yes.
That's
I was
about it.
talking, yeah, I was saying that earlier. I was like, why have you not watched this? I was saying it to the class before when you came on. I was like, Best of the Best is the only other thing where it's ever been like almost what we do, you know, and on a level where they take it seriously too.
Yeah. until you get into like the sequels where they start like taking down like terrorists and stuff like that in the jungle.
They always have to go too far, don't they?
They always do.
But even Cobra Kai, I mean, it's so out. To be fair, the first season isn't too outlandish, but it does start getting like it just ends with the tournament, doesn't it? So it's a bit like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we can. This is reasonable, but LaRusso's relationship with Johnny as well is that I think it's possibly one of the best rivalries that's ever been in movies. Like from a silly kids movie that it's managed to like they play it so well that you still feel it. Like, you know, 30 years later, they're still talking about it. I think I just love it.
Oh,
Absolutely love it.
Yeah, man, it's great. You know, I was kind of the same way with you with getting into the show. I didn't wait that long though. I remember seeing the previews, and they were trying to advertise YouTube Premium, right? And so they did the one episode for free, and I'm like,
Yes.
I'm not gonna watch this crap. Like, I don't want to watch Karate Kid stuff. You know, I'm an adult. Blah 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 blah. And I might have been like at my school or whatever, like when all the classes were done, and I watched the first episode, and I was immediately like, I have to get YouTube Premium right now.
Yeah, that's what happened to me too.
And I still have it. And I binge watched, I think it was 10 episodes. It's like 5 hours long.
Yeah.
All 5. I just binged watched it right then. And I was like, this is the best show I've seen in a long, long time. and it does. Like, you know, because we are competitors, because we are martial artists and we're martial arts instructors, like, but what people don't understand is like this, like the world that the series takes place in is this like really weird, exaggerated world where like the martial arts is this huge popular thing.
Yes.
That is not the way it is in real life.
No.
No. Like when I was a kid, I didn't tell anyone that I did martial arts. You know, my friends knew, but like, I didn't advertise it whatsoever. I wasn't walking around in high school with team jackets on.
Literally color coding your stuff. Like you can't go out. They don't go out with anything other than red at one point. Like,
oh yeah, yeah. In the show, like these guys have like Cobra Kai towels and like their branding is on point.
Even in the original movie, Johnny had a Cobra Kai bike helmet. Like, yeah. How do you even get one of them made?
Yeah. I mean, we don't even have that now in the real world. You know, and like it's one of those things like especially like the age group that they are in. You know, like high school age. You know, like martial arts is not the popular thing to do.
No, but you know what? That makes for me. I feel like if I watched that as a kid, I would be like, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's like even though it is a bit like I do think I wouldn't say it would have a negative effect on people on parents letting their kids do it. I don't think that's true, but it's a pretty violent show. Like you know, we got teenagers fighting. You know, if you go into season 2, they're willing to kill each other over casual school rivalry.
Yeah. Over just being in the opposite school.
It's almost like joining a gang, but I think like they make it cool. They wear cool clothes. They're cool kid. Like it's not just the nerdy kids that are doing it. Like you know, like not that's a bad thing, but you know, like it's the athletic guys want to do it. Everyone wants to do it. Like there's that doesn't exist in the real world. Like we do a sport, we do an activity, which is the last choice for people that can't fit in anywhere else. And they obviously he does have that at the beginning. And that's what I love is he transforms them people, which is so realistic. Like because that is what we do. You know, I think how many kids have I taken that have gone like no athletic ability and now they've got like 6 packs and super Hawk is perfect. Like Hawk is like
zero confidence, and now arguably he has too much confidence, but
but he's just he's an awesome fighter, like you know all that stuff. Like, but we do that to kids, and that's nice too. Is that you can feel that connection as well. But at the same time, you got later in the later series, you got everyone who is getting involved. Like,
Oh yeah, like the top athletes.
He's taking auto. He's actually, and the crazy thing, he's just turning up at their practice. Like, I mean, I'd be quite concerned if we were running a martial arts class and like I don't know, a football scout came in and was just taking people off.
Yes.
But he's just turning up, with the simple promise that he will turn you into a weapon.
Yeah, a human weapon. yeah. Imagine us going around to high school sports and poaching their top athletes. I think we would get laughed off the court.
I mean, what is the what is the like? What's the end goal here? Like, what are you promising them?
Yeah.
What are they going to achieve out of this? Like, you get to fight people in the street, like, and I'm gonna get you to fight all the time. You can break into people's houses and fight. You can fight in the school. You can fight anywhere. Like, you can get revenge on anyone.
Oh yeah. So yes. So like, I think what we're both getting at is like the world is in a very fun way. It's a very ridiculous world. If you like think about it critically, like, because like for us, from like the competitive standpoint, all right, what is like the greatest tournament you could win? Probably the Irish Open, Waco Worlds, stuff like that, right? The big karate tournament in the Cobra Kai series, the All Valley Karate Tournament, is a kids only tournament, right? And it's done in just a rec center gym. Basically a high school gym is where this little like the local tournaments in the States suck. How are the local tournaments in England?
Terrible.
Yeah, they're terrible. But yet people make a humongous deal about it. Even like non-martial artists.
Yeah, everyone knows. Everyone knows.
Which is probably the most unrealistic thing about the whole show is that people who aren't martial artists care about the All Valley. I have never met a single human being on this planet that cares about the Irish Open other than the people who go to compete in it.
This is so true. There's no fans. But I mean, that LaRusso even has to get a favor so he can see it. Like, it's called it a favor because the arena's so packed.
Yeah. Oh man,
what?
It is like it's just such a like a fun, fantastical world. I think like if you are like a martial artist or a coach or a competitor or whatever, like I think like a part of you like wishes like that was real and that was your experience.
I know, but you know what's funny is it isn't a million miles from reality. Sometimes like I had a rivalry with my former school when I left.
Mm-hmm.
That where we had a full blown like we were having like a propaganda war for a while where we were going at it on Facebook and we were putting banners up outside each other's schools and when we went to tournaments there was at least 50 of each of our school on each side of the mat. Everyone was shouting. There was arguments like that got a bit deep like that where it's a little bit like if you see one of them guys make sure you represent the school, like it was like a kind of thing. And my old instructor wasn't a million miles away from trying to be crease.
Oh yeah, like one of the things I like about it too is like there are people who like unironically, without even like knowing about the show, like they try to like model themselves that way.
Definitely.
Which is hilarious, for me. Like we're definitely serious martial artists, and we train people really, really well. But like I don't think we take ourselves too seriously.
No, no way.
But how many people do we know take themselves way too seriously in the martial arts industry?
Oh, and they're always terrible.
Yes.
They're always the worst. Like the serious ones are always the worst. With like 12 downs on their belt, like
oh yeah.
Big like just like big ego. There's loads of them. And they've all got a weird like their club name always involves some sort of like I don't know, normally it involves some sort of like reference to themselves. Like John Smith's Black Belt Excellence Academy of Justice.
Yeah. They're the kind of people who like on Facebook, like their first name is like Master or Grandmaster or Kiyoshi or Sensei.
Yeah. Oh, them people are the worst. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Leave it in the gym.
Yes, and I think the show does a good job like making fun of those people too. Because like how many people do we know like unironically try to be like the Johnny Lawrences or the John Creases of the world?
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. Even in England, there's a lot as well. I think there's more out there where you are.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
I attended one of your local tournaments once, and the guy who was I went with Kyle. One of the
Yeah.
guy who was running this tournament was talking to people like I mean, he didn't know what people's jobs or whatever they were. But for him, being a 19th Dan, like self-proclaimed black belt, meant that he had more status than anyone in the world. And he was talking to people like they were children, just shouting at them, stand
Well,
there,
yeah.
you move out, like what's your deal? Like, and it's literally Crease. These people model themselves on Crease.
They do. And not
Without
in a
the
good way.
skills to back it up. Yeah, and at least like in the show, Kreese seems fairly invincible. He never seems to die. Like
Yeah.
he's at least 70 years old. Windows, no problem. No, being pounded, ground and pounded for 20 seconds, no problem. I think he's had so much plastic surgery, you can't damage him anymore.
He does. He just like the actor in general has gone from looking way better as the show has progressed. He looked pretty rough in his little cameo at the end of season 1, but season 3, like they gave him some Botox injections and
many. Yeah, he's good in shape. He's got some arms.
Yeah,
and
so tell me this. So let's say you could only do one drill, all right? But like the parents won't care and you can get away with it. What is like the one drill you wish you could do at your school or to your students from the show?
Oh, I can think of so many good ones. I mean, the cement one was cool.
Yeah.
I like the headbutting. I liked when they had to take right when they had to take a clean punch in the face. That one was good too.
Yes.
We got a bleeder. Yeah, we got loads. That was good. I like some of LaRusso's drills too, where he had them fighting in the freezer. That was quite funny.
Yeah, yeah.
But if I could pick one, it would be Coyote Creek. It would have to be Coyote Creek. Putting his head
full
back.
contact capture the flag in the middle of the woods.
Don't tell your parents where you've gone.
I think for me, it would have to be that everyone line up and just take a clean shot to the face. Like I would love to just tell my class, all right, straight line, kids, and just wham, wham.
No gloves as well.
No gloves, bare knuckles. That's another thing too about like just like the ridiculousness of this world is so like the All Valley Karate Tournament, right, is a kids only tournament where it seems like, and we obviously don't know the official, breakdowns or whatever, that they only separate you by gender, no weight classes.
No, they don't separate by gender because in the first season, is it Aisha? She fights the guy that he has to fight in the semi-final. Xander.
Okay, that's right. Okay, so they don't even separate by gender. No gender, no weight classes, no gear. These guys are wearing nothing except their uniform. That's it. So this is a bare knuckle, full contact point fighting match where you can elbow people in the mouth and like knock them out.
You can land kicks on the floor. People are landing axe kicks on people on the ground.
Oh yeah. You would get thrown out and banned so fast.
Yeah.
At any tournament here on Earth. For doing that.
There's no clear rules. When they put the flags up for points, they just shout out random numbers as well. 3 points.
They do.
Wait, he landed a punch, but in the clip before he lands a head kick and gets 2 points. It's like, I don't understand.
Well, the one where they sweep a kid down to the ground, hits him in the stomach, then fires off like a 2-piece into the kid's face while he's on the ground. Point red.
I would like them to have gone into a little bit more detail on that. Like, just at least make it like have continuity in terms of, like if you watch this, if he kicks him in the head, you can clearly see that he gets more points than just like. I mean, as soon as you start introducing elbows and chops and and headbutts and knees, like there's all sorts going on in there, isn't there? There is a knee. I mean, Hawk lands a flying knee and one of his just knocks the guy straight out.
He does.
No disqualifications. It's full contact.
It is full contact child gladiatorial combat. and like I guess like apparently like once you hit 18, they just don't care about you.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
just
you're
like,
not a martial arts person
yeah,
anymore.
like, oh no, we don't want you, old man.
Yeah,
Even yeah, even in season 2 when Stingray joins, who's an adult, Kreese is like, this is more for a younger crowd. like God forbid they train 20-year-olds, people who are going to be like in peak physical shape in their prime.
I was gutted when they took Stingray out of season 3.
Yeah.
I did think he was genius. He was his character was so funny when he came out the ground at Coyote Creek. That was that was the best thing ever.
Oh, it was hilarious.
I do think some of the fight scenes are really good. I mean, like it's a shame. I think Tori lets it down in terms of she is meant to be the toughest.
Yeah.
Kind of the toughest, and she's just, in Cobra Kai after, like, I guess after Hawk, but once in season 3, and she just can't fight. Like, and it irritates me that all of the guys in the background that don't get to speak are actually good. So you
Yes.
appreciate like them doing a bit more, which I think they did try and do in season 3, because they did give them background guys like more time on screen fighting, because it was like, you've got a whole school of people. I know you can't have like 20 different personalities in a show, but I wish that she had a better martial arts. From a martial arts perspective, she is awful. She is below beginner. She is
Yes.
up there with top level beginners. Like, she's that person who comes in and you go, oh my god, this is going to take some work. And I would like, maybe if she did some martial arts outside of the thing to maybe make it a bit better for her in the movie, because she clearly does most of the stunts herself. Because I mean, if you're a stunt person, couldn't possibly be that bad, and that's the only thing I feel like.
Well, yeah, most
Miguel,
stunt people are martial artists.
Yeah, and I can like Miguel. I don't think is terrible. Robbie is all right. Like, Hawk, I think is quite good, and like, compared to a proper, like, a real, like, full-time like martial arts. Of course, they're not going to be as good, but they do enough for me to get by. Like, where I can appreciate kind of what they're doing. But
stick out.
When Tori comes, I'm like, oh, for God's sake, this is, oh my God.
Yeah, anytime she's hitting the pads, it's just
And not only that, she's beating up people that are really good. One minute it flashes to a guy doing like a cool spinning kick, knocking someone down, and then Tori just comes over and like hits them with like a real like below par technique and just knocks them straight out. And it's like, if you were just a bit better, like, the show would be better for it, I think. Well, for me anyway, as a martial artist, I think normal person they probably wouldn't even notice. They just look at like her as a character. But I do get a bit detailed on technique sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. We and something I tell people is that like the fight scenes are probably my least favorite part.
Yeah.
I just don't even care about it. And like for a lot of me, the technique is terrible. No one you would expect these guys to like never have their hands down, because like those kind of instructors who are like willing to like punch kids in the face will punch you in the face every time your hands are down. Like, you would think these guys would be masters of keeping their hands up, but not a one can do it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and
just seeing the characters again, like seeing like the relationships they go through, how their characters evolve. See, I think like at the end of the day, like, it is like an underdog story, right?
Yeah.
Just seeing like all these people who were either bullied or like their life was in bad shape, just to see like how they're kind of transforming through the show is really, really cool.
Yeah, I love the edits. I do enjoy the edits they do with the fighting. I think it's probably, in terms of any fight scene I've seen in a movie or a TV show, it's the most cleverly done. The way they have the school fight scene, the way it panned from person to person fighting was like, whoever did that was just an awesome way of doing it. Like, no, it just switched from fight to fight, but it just seemed like it was continuously moving. And the house scene at the end of season 3 was like that as well. And I was like, it's so clever the way you've just panned. Like, I don't understand how they do cameras and stuff, but I mean, like, it just looked like it was just free flowing. Like, you were following the fight completely. It wasn't like flashing from one area to another. You traveled with the fights. I thought that was wicked. Like,
they did very long, continuous takes.
Yeah, it was so clever. Yeah, they've done it. Yeah, no, they do it normally in like action movies, don't they? Like, especially like where Lord of the Rings had scenes like that where they travel around for a little bit like that. And I thought I loved that. That's a new way of doing like fight scenes for me. I haven't watched anything where they kind of do that. And it was like, oh, he's fighting. Oh, there's that, and you can like, and when you watch it with the kids, they're like, oh, like Hawk's fighting over there in the background and all that stuff. I thought that was awesome. Like, I did enjoy that, and I love it. I'm talking about it. I just want to turn it on.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So what I was thinking we could do is like because there's just like so many like ridiculous things, you know. Like what do you think are some like the most like ridiculous things that could like probably like could never happen in real world? Like I'll kind of give you examples. Like I'll start. You know, imagine a fight breaking out in a school between two rival karate gangs. All right, where bladed weapons are involved. You know, a girl gets her arm, you know, slashed open. A kid nearly dies. He ends up in a coma because he got kicked, you know, from like the second story and lands on some stairs and is nearly paralyzed. Like, martial arts would be outlawed so fast in real life, or at least here in the States. They would outlaw it immediately following that.
So,
the parents would be suing everybody.
They're so good that the teachers can't stop them. they're too strong for adults to intervene. That is one of the maddest things. I think just in general, like the thing that made me laugh the most, I just couldn't breathe when I was watching it. It just took me out when Eagle Fang first gets created, and they start training in the park, which I was like, oh, cool. You know, I put myself in the mind of a student here, and oh, there's karate lessons starting in the park. I'm gonna go down and give it a try. So I get there for my first class, and as I'm there, a rival school karate turns up, and I watch two old men begin to argue like on gang level war about basically nothing, about who basically is the stronger martial art. And then, you know, I then get roped into basically a gang war and told that I am fair game from any one of these guys.
Anywhere, anytime.
Anywhere. It literally is a I'm officially in a gang war. Like, I've turned up for my first class. It could have been a free session. I'm now in a gang war.
There are people who like I do not like in the martial arts. I don't like them. I don't like their school. I don't like their students. I could not imagine telling my people, listen, I don't care where they are. You make sure you drop them. Show up at their house. Wait outside the door.
Throw someone through a window.
Yes.
That's one of them. I mean, there is a lot of examples in the program of things that just, I mean, like, if your kid's coming home after being headbutted in a class, I think your parents will be pulling you out. You know, there's never a parent that comes to watch. No one's ever seen. How does Johnny afford anything? He has 20 odd students, but he drives he maintains that expensive car. I know he got it for free, but his life seems to turn around from being poor to brand new TVs, being able to go out for meals. Yeah, with 20 students, which I definitely know personally that's not going to happen.
That ain't happening.
Yeah,
especially in California, with how expensive it is out there. Definitely not happening.
Yeah, I mean the classes for sure are incredibly unrealistic, but me and Rachel, like, these guys are willing to kill each other over. No one actually really knows. When you think about it, what are they really arguing? It all just stems back to like a fight in the car park after the All Valley in like 1984. But like, Kreese is still angry about it, and LaRusso's still willing to go back and have like. They've not moved on at all. It's like they're literally still standing in the car park. Like that final fight scene, Kreese picks up a shard of glass to stab Johnny to death with. To LaRusso, sorry. Before that, Johnny picks up the sai, gets told not to kill Kreese with it. Then Kreese picks it up and he's about to stab Johnny, and then he starts choking Johnny to death. But I was thinking, like, where's the foresight here? I mean, you can't just kill someone in your karate dojo and it'd be okay.
Like, even if it is self-defense, that's probably going to shut your school down.
How is this okay? Like, but you're making it accept. And even then with a school fight, like, they turn up and they go, not the school fight, the final fight in the house.
Yeah, at the house party.
This is about to end. I mean, what does that mean? Like, at one point she gets nunchucks out and starts swinging them. I'm like,
yeah.
you're looking at life in prison for.
Yeah, you could easily kill someone with a solid
What?
blow to the head with a set of nunchucks.
Or at least like I don't. What do you call it? We call it a GBH, it's grievous bodily harm, which is like the level below murdering someone. Like if you
We call it manslaughter.
Oh no, we got manslaughter as well, but grievous bodily harm is like you don't kill them, but you absolutely beat the living hell out of someone.
Oh man, yeah, I think there's a term for that.
That happens 7 or 8 times every episode, and these kids never seem to face any punishment for it.
They're throwing them through tables, throwing them through glass, through windows.
They're actually glassing each other. They're hitting each other with like bottles and things. Like, I mean, that could be misleading for children.
Well, I want to see like the episode of like when these kids go home from that. What do the parents say to their kid who comes, who's like, pulling out shards of glass out of their arm, like half their lip is missing, or hanging down by their chin because of all the punches they received while they were on the ground.
I mean, like Miguel got killed, like basically paralyzed, and no one went to the karate gym and said, "Look, what's happening here? Like, we're gonna have to shut this down for a while. You're training people, I mean, even the premise. Do you know what? This is quite worrying because me and Rachel were talking about this earlier. Is I do think that you could instill a similar mindset into kids if you had them young enough. Like you could turn them. I think we have the influence
100%.
to be able to do that. Like that's the scary thing, is that the shows of it, that stuff is like, oh, it's a joke, it's funny, but you could take a kid if you kept pushing them, going no mercy, hit first, take no shit. Like if someone gives you any shit, you hit them straight away.
Oh yeah.
There are kids that will take that literally, and if you keep pushing it, you can get probably all of them to believe it. Like that isn't out of the realms of possibility that you could get some real heavy, like sort of like you could get a few prison sentences out of your school.
100%. Yeah. I was surprised. Like maybe we'll see it in the next season. Like Kreese was recruiting like the top high school athletes. He should have been down at the juvenile detention center recruiting from there.
Yep.
Like, all right, which one of you guys knows how to make a shank? All right, I'm taking you, kid.
I'm just quite happy to. It's like it is literally life or death karate. Like there's no meaning to this at all. I like Kreese when he was like 3 generations of cobras. It's like, how can you take anything this seriously? Like it literally makes the show believe that everything in the world revolves around karate. There's nothing remotely. LaRusso is running a multi-million-pound industry, and he cuts that out because he wants to teach karate in his back garden, and that's more important for him.
I could not imagine like whoever's like maybe like the worst person I ever lost to, or who beat me up the worst in a match. I could never imagine like my students like holding a grudge against that person and their students for all time. To like defend my honor, in a life or death match at a public school.
It's crazy, but like there's just I keep like I want my students to be not more Cobra Kai mentality, but more Cobra Kai in terms of I want them to go to school like in the Power Rangers, where like the red Power Ranger always wore red and the Green Ranger always. I want my guys to go to school wearing our t-shirt. Like, I want you to have the hat on. Like, please go like go to school in our stuff. If you're wearing uniform, wear the t-shirt underneath. Always be ready.
Yeah. Always be recruiting. Always be on brand.
Exactly. But I do love that. Like there was a time where, because our club's black and green, where watching this made me remember I used to only wear black and green clothes for at least 3 years. I think in about 2015, I stopped buying just constant black and green clothes. Like it becomes an obsession. But I love the character transformations as well. I mean, at the beginning, LaRusso is so annoying, and
he's awful.
I love that they made him annoying because he was annoying. Like in the first, I think the genius of it is recognizing that most people connected more in the first movie, the original Karate Kid. They connected more with Johnny than they did with LaRusso anyway. Because I think LaRusso was he was stealing Johnny's girlfriend, and he was okay. Yeah. Like I know he didn't know straight away, but then he didn't stop. Like like that would have pissed anyone off. Like I
Yeah.
would
Oh yeah.
definitely be like, if I had a gang of mates at school, I'm not trying to be like, get away from my girl. Like, and if you didn't, it would be continuing. So I think you could definitely. And Johnny was cool and LaRusso wasn't, and he's even like the genius of it is they made LaRusso turn into exactly what you expected him to be: car salesman,
Yeah.
sleep, like just annoying, know it all, and I kind of just so in your face about everything, and you're like, I'm better than you, sort of thing. Like, and I love that I think they even they transformed him again to the point in season 3 where I started liking him a lot more than I've ever liked him before, which
Oh yeah.
you don't even realize it. And that last episode when he turned up to he kicked Kreese off
Yes.
Johnny,
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
I got a rush of adrenaline
I
watching that. I
did.
was like,
Yes. Yeah. When he's like,
yeah,
you
like,
sent him to my house.
yeah.
He looks like he's ready to kill Kreese.
Yeah, he was. He's the first time I've ever thought like LaRusso's a bit like a bad motherfucker.
Yes.
Like,
that is
that's,
exactly right.
yeah, that's the first time. Like, but he also was willing. You're talking a man with kids, two young, one kid who's 18, a
Yeah.
kid who's like 12, 13, married, owns a gigantic business. He is willing to strike Kreese down. Like he has a man on his knees. Like he's about to hit him with a death strike.
Yeah.
Like for sending a few kids over to have a fight at his house. These guys, like, these are serious dudes.
Yeah,
Like,
they're serious dudes.
you can't mess with them. They're willing to kill over the smallest of issues. So it surprised me that none of them have been in prison for murder.
All because 30 years ago he beat his student at the All Valley Karate Tournament.
It's just so good. Like, I love the Easter eggs. Like you said, I love all the previous references. Like I was saying, like even the tackle when they played that soccer match.
Yeah.
The tackle that I can't remember who did the tackle. The tackle from the original movie, where LaRusso got tackled, he got up and punched the guy. They did the tackle the exact same way. One of the tackles is exactly the same way. If you're like, oh, did you spot that?
Yeah, I think it was his daughter who did the tackle.
Yeah, yeah. And I again, it's like switched around. The way they do it all the time. It's just so clever. And I loved it as well when they brought back the original group and they all had denounced Cobra Kai, like the original Cobra Kai. I thought that was really cool. And that was so clever. Like, and they got in that fight and they were still really good at fighting and stuff. Like that was epic. When he goes to the Halloween party dressed as the skeleton, like Johnny, like, and then LaRusso has that like weird flashback when he goes past him. Like I thought that was just awesome. Like it's like he'd seen a ghost. Oh, there's hundreds of them. They can just drop like. I'm so clever. Like even when they brought Chosen back, and he went to Okinawa, and that was brilliant as well. I mean,
that was and like again, like I hated the second movie. I hated Chosen, all those guys, but they did some really cool stuff with this character.
Yeah, when he didn't talk, and then he was just like, dude, I don't drink. It's like no. It's like hyper aggressive.
Yeah.
That was it's just genius. And Ali coming back was cool. It was like you said, it was one of the things where you're like, oh no, he's gonna go with Ali and leave Miguel's mom. And I was like, oh no, Miguel's gonna spot.
Yeah, the entire time I'm just like internally screaming at John, like, don't mess this up, man. What are you doing?
Yeah, and you're thinking, oh my god, Miguel's going to the carnival. He's gonna see, or whatever it's called, a carnival, whatever that was. Yeah. He's gonna see Johnny with Ali, and they're gonna be kissing. It's gonna ruin everything. But like they had me going the whole time of that, and then it didn't happen. I was like, it's just whoever. I know Will Smith's involved, isn't he, as well? And I think it's William Zabka, the guy who plays Johnny, is I think he's the main writer of the show, one of the main writers of the show as well. So I think like they know it. Yeah, they know it so well, and I think. I'm not sure. I think Johnny in real life still does karate as well. So I think he catches that. He knows the real life sort of right, and I think he also probably really understands how serious people within martial arts take martial arts, because to us it is. I do consider it the best thing ever. Like for me, I think everyone should do it. I think everyone should compete in tournaments. I think that's how I feel, and I don't like. Unfortunately, there's only a minority of people in the world that feel like that with it. Yeah. But I think he understands that with our culture, that how serious it is taken within its own world. Like, and they're portraying that so good. Like, it just connects.
Yeah, so, they handle it really, really well, because I think there's definitely a balance between, because like there's you know I don't know if I would classify the show as a comedy, but there's stuff that's hilarious in it,
Yeah.
And like they don't like make a mockery of the martial arts,
No, they don't.
But they definitely like clown on appropriate aspects of it.
Yeah.
That I think, especially like martial artists like us, we definitely clown on it too.
Oh yeah.
So like I do like someone involved in the writing process or one of the producers has to either be or have been a martial arts school owner. Because
100%.
there's just so many like inside things that you see,
100%.
Oh yeah, again, like kind of like what you said earlier. There are certain things like I wish I could say to some of my students sometimes, or certain drills like I just dream I could do and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That they're putting on the show as if we could do it.
Like you said, there's a part in when he's running the school where he says, going out and sticking up the leaflets is one of them. That's our life. Our miserable life is going out and doing that. I'm almost being made mockery for. I've had given people leaflets and they go, "No, folks, my kid's violent enough." He deals with that for a bit, doesn't he? Where people don't want his leaflet and they're throwing it away and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Also, like that when he's like, "We're not taking any new students today," and he's like, "Come back tomorrow and bring your checkbook." Like as a school owner, you go, yeah, you definitely need to get the tuition fees. Like you can't be sending people. I'm thinking you're sending people away, they haven't paid. You've got to make sure.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, no, they're willing to pay right now. Take them.
Yeah. That bit, like it really does connect. Someone involved has definitely experienced, I think, most of the.
For sure, has to be.
Yeah.
There's no way they're getting all this stuff right through luck.
No way.
Can't be.
No way. It's just so clever. Like, but I just the vibe. It's just it gives me a weird. It's just got its own vibe. Like it's a combination. Like you said, it's not just it's like it's funny, but it's quite it's serious. It touches on a lot of serious things as well. And you really do believe. I really know if you watch it and you get caught up in it, which I think everyone did and didn't realize, is that you don't even question the madness.
No, you don't.
You forget to question that these are fully grown men forcing under 18s to go out and fight to the death. Like,
yes.
That is.
Well, see, that is the mark of really good writing and really good show running. Because like how many shows or movies have we sat through where you start questioning everything about the universe, or why they do this or why wouldn't they do that? Like the last season of Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
Like nothing makes sense based on like what any of those characters would have done beforehand, right?
Yeah.
Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? None of that stuff. Daenerys just totally forgot about these guys hunting her dragons, yada yada yada. Yeah, like you're right. Like when all this craziness is happening, we're just kind of sucked into it and we're enjoying it rather than going, why wouldn't an adult stop that? Why would
Yeah. I don't think
that's definitely a major credit to them.
Yeah, and I don't know. The thing that I find bizarre is that when I watched it originally, I thought that the average person who didn't do martial arts wouldn't really feel this, and they wouldn't be into. But I've got parents who've never watched the original Karate Kid watching the original Karate Kid because they're enjoying Cobra Kai so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're just into it, like so into it. Like I've got completely swept away with it. Like I just want a relentless, non-stop, never-ending season.
Yeah.
Like I could just sit through like this. I love it. Like I really do. Do you know what? I tell you what was one of my favorite parts when they broke the rivalry between him and LaRusso was genius, and it's just like the demo that when they broke in on that demo,
yes.
Like that's one of them things where like that's not a drill as such, but if I could do that and turn up with my guys and just get on stage and have all the lights going like that and just crush someone like that was awesome. And when they ran in at the tournament shouting Cobra Kai as well. They're like, what the hell is that? Like you hear them coming in the background, like what the hell? Like that when a T-Rex is coming through the jungle in Jurassic Park.
Listen, man, next Irish Open, I want to see your guys coming in. Absolute.
It works as well because we're 3 syllables, so like
it does. That's
get this going.
That's why the USA chant's so good compared to the England chant.
Yeah, that's true. England, we had one in, didn't we?
You do.
I think my favorite part of the show is Johnny when he shouts quiet. Like I have stolen that now. I do it in the class. Quiet.
Yeah.
I've tolerated enough bullshit. Oh, that is one of my favorite bits. But and I think the acting is really good.
It's surprisingly like
I mean,
it's one of those things where like I went in with no, because again I didn't like the movies beforehand. I didn't even think I was gonna like the show, so I went in with really low expectations, and they just been blowing me away.
yeah, and Johnny's so believable. Like, I don't like, you can believe that there is a middle-aged man out there exactly like him who doesn't know how to use a computer, who's not on Facebook, who just likes rock music and lives in the past.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
plenty of them people out there that just want to have the Mustang or the whatever, the Dodge Charger or whatever, and just go, I just want to live in that era. I want to wear leather jackets. I want to like just act like I'm from the old days, like,
Yep.
and not move into these times. Like, I think there are people out there like that, and he plays that so well. I fully believe in his character, and you're rooting from the beginning, aren't you? Yep. Like he really connects with it, like with making. I think, like you said, it's an underdog story, but he is really likable. Like, he is. He's likable, but when you look at what he's doing, it's not for the wrong reasons, but he's teaching the wrong things that he was taught at the beginning when he's teaching them no mercy and stuff. He's changing their lives, I guess. It's well intentioned,
yes,
but it's still quite bad. And you're watching him do kind of like sort of like things where people would have. I mean, on Twitter, if you videoed some of the things he said in real life and put them on Twitter, he would be roasted. Like
he'd be canceled immediately.
He'd be, and he's doing all that stuff, and it's just somehow still like everyone still loves it. It's like almost like a lovable rogue. He's like he's so like charming to a point where you can't you just go ha ha. Like I just think he's brilliant. Like I think he makes the show, but it's about him. But I think everyone does their part. Like
they do.
I love I think Hawk, way he transforms from looking so shy to being that confident, but then also transforms back to that especially in the third series when where is it Kyler, the wrestling guy comes back and
it's either Kyler or Tyler.
He comes back. Yeah, he comes back and he's like, oh, it's lip, and then you see him go back to that face where he looked like
he regresses.
and then he immediately back again, killing that other dude, like absolutely killing him. But again, that is an assault in ground and pound, 7 or 8 punches.
See, so like with that, like I actually think that like his character kind of reverted back too soon.
Yeah,
I think like that might have been better saved for like a later season. Like he went from like breaking his former best friend's arm mercilessly.
Oh my god, yeah.
And to then being like, no, don't hurt him. He's my friend.
And that's like, I'm not being funny. I don't think I'd be willing to accept the apology if someone.
I don't think I could. And I'm a compassionate person. I don't know if I could forgive someone who breaks my arm while I'm begging them not to.
Yeah, especially someone who used to stay around your house every day.
Yeah.
Up until possibly maybe a year ago. I mean, I don't know what kind of time span we're talking here, but it's probably only a year space between them being unpopular at school and being weird to suddenly him breaking his arm in a street fight.
Yeah. But I will say, to be fair, like now that I'm thinking about it, like if I was like currently getting like my face stomped in by someone else, and then that guy, the guy who broke my arm started beating up the guy who was stomping my face in, at the very least, I would be like, all right, well, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah, but not afterwards, like doing combo kicks with each other.
Yeah.
Handshake
I don't know if I want to train with them after that.
Yeah, probably not. I literally in every episode I could just talk. I could sit here and do a podcast with you on every episode. I could talk about every episode for ages. Like even now when we're talking about it, there's so many things. One thing I was disappointed with in season 2 was that Dimitri beat Hawk, and I think other people were, and I think they remedied that in season 3 when he broke his arm, because he did just drop him. And even the way he took him to the floor was really like, earlier in the season he referenced, I was lucky, and then he was like, just took him out and then kind of reestablished his position, because Hawk is meant to be top man at Cobra Kai. Like once Miguel is gone, he is the number one dude. Like You can't have Dimitri, who is the worst guy at Miyagi-Do, to be beating him in a fight.
Yeah.
But I don't mind I liked his character better in season 3 as well. They made him a little bit more, not such a way less wimpy and a bit more like aggressive. And
Yes.
I like that. It was definitely
they made him
better.
a bit more believable.
Yeah.
Because like you're saying, like the way he beats Hawk in season 2, it's just like he couldn't even kick like a week ago.
Yeah.
And now he's like face kicking this dude. It's like, they could have maybe done it to where like, maybe like Hawk tries to punch him, he moves his hat out of the way, and like Hawk like breaks his hand on a locker or something like that.
Yeah, that would have been better.
Yeah,
or
something
punches
like that.
through glass and cuts his hand or something like that. Like, kind of like what Kreese did. That would have been quite clever.
I would have
if they did that. Yeah, that would have been quite clever. But I do like. I love the way they reference back into the movies with clips from the movies as well.
Yes.
Anytime
they bring Miyagi on scene, I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah. The first one of them, that's kind of what got me as well. When they started doing that in the first season, I think they did it almost immediately with when they showed the tournament and with Ali with the fight when he says that's not what happened. LaRusso, when he was explaining to Miguel,
that's right, yeah.
You only saw the bits that Johnny had remembered that he did in his head. He'd not done anything wrong, and we know that he did push LaRusso over first. But then he was like, he sucker punched me, and you only saw that little clip, and it's like, oh, that's how he remembers it, sort of thing. And it's like, LaRusso obviously got pushed over first. He's like, he sucker punched me, and then when he did then something else, and it just went on, didn't it? But that was the first one back when I was like, if they're doing that, that's just awesome, because it was so clever that they used the original footage to tie in with Johnny's perspective was really cool. And they used, in the tournament, when they flash back to the tournament, they used clips that weren't in the Karate Kid.
They used unused footage.
Yeah, which is even like that's such a deep dive as well. Like, I mean, I couldn't ask for any more out of it, really. Like, no. I think it's exceeded expectations to the point where I never thought there would be anything like quite as good as this coming out of it before.
No, yeah, I like if you would have told me, a couple of years ago that I was going to be obsessed with a show about the people from the Karate Kid and their kids, I would have been like, no. I'm too busy watching Game of Thrones here. I don't need that kid garbage.
Yeah. Who's your favorite character and who's your least favorite character?
Oh, my favorite and least favorite. Oh, man. Favorite character is either going to be Miguel or Johnny Lawrence. Probably leaning more towards Johnny, just because again, like I like seeing like the major transformations he's going through, and like Miguel obviously plays like such a huge role in that.
Yeah.
Least favorite, probably Robbie.
Yeah.
His actual son.
Yeah.
He is annoying. Oh yeah. Well, like I feel like one of like the big like morals of the show is like maybe you should like think before you act, because like how many times in the show do the characters say something, they either say something or do something, and someone either walks in at the worst possible moment or they see it at the worst possible moment and then leave. Like that happens all the time in the show.
All the time.
And like unfortunately for Robbie, it happens to him so much. He's never seemed to learn his lessons. Like, oh, like it's like in season 3, he's starting to rekindle his relationship with his dad. And then his dad was like, well, I had to go see Miguel at the hospital. Yeah. He's like, I hate you, father.
Yeah. He reacts so over the top of everything, doesn't he? Like,
yes.
But like he literally always turns out just as it's looking good, something bad happens.
It is, yeah. And of course, like he sees Samantha and Miguel together and all that kind of stuff, and it's just like the kid like can't catch a break. But unfortunately, like he's never learned like, oh, maybe I need to like have some more like perspective here, and maybe like not just react really hot right off the top.
Yeah.
But who's your favorite and least favorite?
My least favorite is definitely Sam.
Sam, yeah.
I just find her so. All of her problems stem from her own behavior, and yet she constantly
Yeah.
She constantly like acts like she's the victim. Like, if anything, she triggered the issues with Tori when she accused her of stealing the wallet before anything happened.
All right. Okay. So before you go on, I mean, you are so right. So do you remember in the very first episode of season 3 when when Samantha's mom they're at that like town hall meeting or whatever at the school, and like you don't see the person, but you just hear in the background, "This all started because your daughter was tramping around with those 2 boys." And it's like that is perfect because that is what everyone is thinking.
Yep. I also loved it when one of the best fan like what would you call it? Things a fan can appreciate was when the guy in the back shouted out, "I heard you was the bully."
Yes, exactly.
That bit was brilliant.
Both of those things were perfect. I'm glad you caught on those.
That nearly break. What's it? The fourth wall. It was like almost
breaking
broke.
the fourth wall.
Yeah, that was so clever. But yeah, Sam is just she's so annoying. She's not a good martial artist.
No, she's terrible.
She literally does the worst. Like, I know, like Miguel. I think Miguel kisses Tori before she gets with Robbie, but she does. Like, if you bring a boy with you to a party where you're meant to be meeting your boyfriend and you haven't spoke to him all day, what are you expecting? Of course, he's going to be angry.
Yeah.
Like, she crashes into Johnny's car, doesn't tell anyone. That was morally wrong. Like when they wrecked Johnny's car. She just does constant things that bug me. Like,
she is like the root. She's really the root cause of like this whole death match that's getting ready to happen in season 4. You can really like. I mean, it ultimately traces back to the All Valley tournament from the Karate Kid movie, but none of it would have happened if it wasn't for her, like hitting Johnny's car.
Dimitri's broken arm.
Yeah,
she took them down there for the fight and then bottled it and sat and watched. But what else? Like, it's not really annoys me is that when she Miguel beats up 4 men in the school cafeteria, and then she has the cheek. I didn't see her fighting. She had the cheek to like talk about his sweep like she was like such an expert, and then it's like, well, you could have. And then he goes and wins the All Valley, and then in season 3 when they make up again, she's like, she thinks she can probably beat him in a fight. I was like, I didn't see you competing in the All Valley, Sam. Do you know what I mean? So like, slow your roll a little bit. And we don't know if you're any good, really. You've only ever fought like you've always been in 2v1s and had a lucky win against Tori when you were getting beaten up around the school. But it does all come down to, and she kissed Miguel, didn't she? After when he was with Tori, so it is all her fault, really. I mean,
it really is. Yeah.
I mean, my favorite character, I think it's Hawk.
Yeah.
I think it's Hawk, and partly because it reminds me so much of a student. I think that does it for me as well. Is that I love Miguel, I love Johnny, but Hawk, I love the way I like the way he acts, but I also liked just the transformation.
It's the ultimate transformation.
And so I love when the Hawk noise plays whenever he's like jumping out of people. Like, when they're doing Coyote Creek and people are walking around, and they can hear suddenly it's like, woo, and then he like jumps out of the tree or something like. I love that. I was like, I also actually think he's a fairly decent, from what I can see, because I've been trying to pause and look to see when the stunt people take over. Just from I do think that he, out of all of them, has a little bit more experience in terms of selling the moves than other people do. There was a kick he did in the house fight where he did like a round kick and jumped into a spinning hook or a spinning hook kick, whatever you guys call it, straight away.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure it was him. And I just think his aggression. I love the way he was like. I would like to a point like a student who is that committed to the school.
Oh yeah.
That they would just like they'd fight your battle. Like, here's life and death with you. He's with you.
They're willing to get tattoos for you.
Yeah, like exactly. Like, he's an all-out sort of like an all-in guy. Like, and I just love the change. I think that he went from being like super nerd to just a fucking bad dude. Like, just breaking arms.
In a couple of years, you're gonna see Peach come in with a gigantic tattoo of a peach on his back.
Well, that's who it reminds me of. Peach is who he reminds me of. Like, no, Peach was the company. Like, I could show you a picture of one of my students. I could show you a picture of him when he first started, and you would think, how the hell is this guy still here? You saw the picture on our Facebook
Yeah,
page.
yeah.
It's like, how the hell? Like, there was a picture of like 7 dudes, all fit, athletic guys. They were all wearing suits, looking really good. It was our 5-year party. They looked like a mean bunch. You're like, oh yeah, these are the dudes. And then there was this little guy standing next to them, wearing a pink bow tie, like a suit that was 5 times too big for him. He's a tiny little ginger guy, like overweight, and now he's shredded.
And he's
like
dangerous.
athletic, yeah, and he's a killer. Like
Yes,
he's a killer.
He is.
He could fight. He could beat up a grown man, no problem. Like that is. He reminds me of him, and I think it's like there's a personal touch there where I'm like, that's a you see them kind of, you do see them kind of transformations. And
You do?
I know
Oh,
he turned a bit bad, but yeah, and I just like when he turns good, he's the kind of guy you want on your team. Like that's why I like him. I would definitely have him on my team. Like, and he's I like it when he took the leadership role a bit as well. That was cool. When he fought that dude and he took his key off.
Oh yeah. Oh man, like that's another like one of those like things that like I know how awful it would be, but like how amazing would it be if like you have like your competition team and like instead of it being invite only, well, not only do you have to be invited, but you have to physically beat one of the other members in a fight to take their spot.
I love that a fresh beginner needs to come in and defeat a fully fledged like competitive fighter with no experience.
Yeah.
Imagine what you would do to a beginner if they come in and sparred you in a match. Like, they'd have no chance. Like, even an athlete, like if if there's a rule, like it doesn't matter if someone's athletic. Like, if you know how to fight, then that's one thing the show does really do well. I think to a point. Sometimes you get bad martial arts where they teach people and they're not good, but in theory, these guys have learned from top martial artists, and therefore they have become top martial artists. And it does a good job of separating good people that can do martial arts from normal people in terms of combat ability, because most people do not realize that someone who knows how to fight and someone who doesn't, there is no lucky chance. Like, there is very slim chance you are ever going to be able to hurt them or hit them or do anything to them in a fight,
There's a world
and it does
difference.
it almost turns them into superhumans, which I feel like is good too. It's like, they really push that, if you're good at martial arts, if you're good at karate, then you're borderline invincible unless you're fighting another karate dude. That I like that, because I do personally believe that if you compete and you train and stuff and you've trained at a serious place, then you can. That's how it really is,
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. I like that when you see that dude who was bullying Hawk, and now Hawk's trained, he didn't even land a punch. He just got annihilated, and that's kind of how I see it would be. And I love that too.
But
yeah, he's my number one.
But imagine like the shame that would if you lost someone who was untrained and you lost your spot,
Yeah, what's it?
And or even worse, it's one of your friends, and now like you can't be friends with them because they're off the team.
You gotta be friends with the new guy now. He's stronger.
You've been my mate for like 5 years, but now, sorry, man, you lost.
What's his? Do they call him Shit Breath? Is that his nickname?
Yes.
I think it's. Some of the nicknames are hard. That's one of the best. That's what my dad sold me with that, because before I watched it, he showed me that bit where he was like, "You've got to see the nicknames he's given these people," and he was like, "Hey, Lip." He's like, "Don't." He's like, "What? Don't expect me to see that disgusting lip?" He's like, "Hey, you tits." It's like, oh my god, he's calling the guy tits, and he's like, if you've got teeth like that, don't ever smile. It's like, oh my god, like.
Oh yeah, could you imagine just like roasting your students that way?
Yeah, it was like what's it called? What's a Full Metal Jacket? Like, it's going down. Everyone was getting it.
You'd be out of a job so fast.
There's so many ruthless nicknames.
Yeah,
one of them is just called a Virgin.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We would never be able to get away with that, man. Never.
No, that's one of them things you would love to do, wouldn't it? Just go down the line and just rip, rip.
Just do that instead of the warm up. Like, all right, we're gonna do some mental training.
What, don't you like that shit, Breath?
So we got the 3 seasons. It looks like season 4 is, the tournament arc. This is
finally.
yes,
real.
yes. So yeah, and I'm glad that you brought up earlier was that they don't split it by gender. So I honestly don't know who is going to be like the number 1 person at the end of it. Like, I feel like the top 3 contenders are probably Sam, Miguel, or Robbie.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be one of those 3 since they're like the main characters. Like I unfortunately don't see Hawk winning it or Tori winning it.
Yeah.
But yeah, who do you think is going to be the
I am
anticipating.
Overall? I am anticipating a team event.
Ooh, that would be cool.
I am thinking they're going to go down a route where they pick their 5 like that. For me, if they did that, that would be my favorite option. If they did individually, I still think Miguel would come out as number 1. But I do see a possible Kreese win here. I see a shock, and I also possibly see Kreese redemption. Why did they do all the Vietnam flashbacks where they almost built his character? He was likable, he's a guy who's had it hard. He's lost his wife, girlfriend.
And they showed that he was someone who was bullied when he was young.
Yeah, so you're almost thinking, hey, Kreese has got like a warped view on the world here. Like, is there a way back? And I know my dad keeps saying it, and I was like, I would say that there is possibly a way back in season 4, but he has been so manipulative. Like, he apologized to Johnny originally when he came back that he wouldn't do it again, and he did go straight back. So I don't see that, but I do possibly see a Kreese Cobra Kai win in there as a shock.
Oh, that would be cool.
Where Cobra Kai never dies, where he comes out on top. Like, that would be surprising, but I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility. But like I said, it is an underdog story, so
yeah.
I think Johnny and LaRusso is a bit of a super team in that world's karate world. Like, they're the 2 four times between them, all Valley champion.
Yeah. That people still know about 30 years later.
We've got Terry Silver coming back, and I hope we have Barnes. I hope
they're going to bring him back too. I'm sure
that we've got to have him back. I mean, do you know they never brought back Dutch? He was in prison from the original gang too, so there's a possibility that he could be featuring somehow. But I think it's either going to be Miguel or possibly I don't see Robbie winning, because I think that they've made him a bit of a. They've set him up to fail a little bit now. People don't like him. I don't think that he's going to be. I think they may be introducing in the new series Kreese venturing out and getting more. Bad dude, like with the help of Terry Silver.
Oh yeah. Now he's going to have all this money behind him.
Yeah, and there's a chance that Terry Silver may still be running a martial arts school somewhere else. And he could be bringing in a new face. I think that would be the best thing they could do, is bring in a new face of an elite top level guy who's horrible, like they did in Karate Kid 3. Barnes came in, he was like really good. Daniel couldn't deal with him at the beginning, and it was like, oh, who's this guy? And it didn't take long to work out that he's just not a nice dude. And we didn't take 3 hours to work out his personality. You don't have to spend 3 seasons building this guy. Just bring in a super, bring in someone new, I think, and then have Robbie as build their roster basically, because Kreese at the moment still has the weakest roster out of the group. Kyler and who is it on the other team? Tori and Robbie aren't going to beat Hawk, Miguel, and Sam. And even Dimitri can probably beat one of them with the way they're going. And they've got all the other guys they took with them as well. So I'd like to see that.
Now I'm thinking about it, man. I feel like I don't know how many more seasons they want to do of the show.
I've heard there's going to be 5 at least.
5 at least. Just for the sake of continuing the show, a Kreese win would probably make the most sense that way.
Yeah.
Like one of his guys, that would be pretty cool. And thing is like he's not like a comically evil guy. He's not like a mustache twirling evil villain, just for evilness' sake.
Yeah,
You
because he
know,
does warped. He does warped to moral things. Like when he saved Tori from
exactly.
that
Yeah,
guy, that was that was morally correct.
that is
And
that.
I
Yeah,
know
that
he's
was the
doing
morally
it.
correct thing to do.
You look at it, what reason did he have to do it other than he wanted to train her at karate and help her out? Like, and he paid for her fees. So it's not like the corruption. How far do you want to look into it? Yeah, he wanted her to help him fight another dojo, but that's not morally evil. Like,
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
and it gets her out of an awful position that she was in.
yeah, it's like a transaction rather than a manipulation. So
Yeah,
yeah, like he's not like your stereo. There's a bit more depth to him now, isn't there?
there
From what
is.
they
There
did.
is. Yeah. Oh
Oh.
man, that would be really interesting.
What I heard earlier, here's a good theory from Cobra in our club, was that the guy who Robbie made friends with in prison
Yeah.
is going to come out of juvie, and he will join Cobra Kai. We already know him. We know he's a big, tough dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
We know that he is perfect Cobra Kai material. He might go and stay with Robbie or have kept communication with him, join Cobra Kai, and become the
Could
next
be it,
bad
man.
dude too.
And, and for Kreese, that'd be the best place to recruit from.
Yeah, like you said earlier, that was straight up, fresh out. As soon as you leave juvie, you do 6 months of Cobra Kai, you get arrested again for assault and possible murder.
Just imagine like you walk out of juvie, like you got like your normal clothes back, your belongings, whatever you went in with, and all of a sudden here's a man in a snake jacket telling you that he can turn you into a human weapon. Like your parents haven't arrived yet to pick you up. Yeah, here's this man who wants to take you under his wing to kill.
Yeah, I think he actually uses the term "the ultimate weapon." I mean, that's some promise. But
oh man, yeah.
I just want to see what goes in. Whether if Johnny and LaRusso's club even manages to stay together will be interesting.
See, yeah, I think they're going to split.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here, like, I think they're going to split, and I wouldn't be surprised if Miguel goes with LaRusso and Sam goes with Johnny. So like everyone is teaching everyone else's kid. Kreese is teaching Johnny's kid. LaRusso is teaching Johnny's soon to be kid, and Johnny's teaching LaRusso's kid.
That's just not that would just be crazy.
It would. But I have a feeling, unless the entire season is like the tournament, I feel like there's definitely going to be either like a breakup and a reunion where they do get back together, or a permanent split between the two.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to some good training scenes, because this is the first time we've seen them really, like working towards one specific goal for the season.
Put him back in the cement trucks.
Yeah, come up with some more crazy ideas, but it will be interesting. It will be interesting. I'm just I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated to see who they bring back, and there's still so many characters they could bring in. I mean, they could even venture into the Will Smith world of the Jaden Smith world of karate. Jackie Chan turns up with Jaden Smith entering in. Jackie Chan's got a new student. Anything but that.
Oh yeah, we got a new janitor at the school all the way from China.
God, imagine how old is Jackie Chan? He's about 200 years old as well.
They're gonna bring Michael Irons back in. He's running a new military academy in California. Surely they're not gonna do anything with those characters. I assume.
I don't know, do you?
I have no idea.
Nothing's out, but I don't know. It's going to be a good season.
It will be. I'm really hyped for it. I'm not gonna lie.
No, they can't spoil it though. That's the thing. There's so much pressure for them to get it right now because they've got it right. So
yes.
They've got it right the entire time, and with a couple of little things that you could nitpick, but the rest of it is heading exactly where everyone wanted to. There was that whole thing where you could tell that Johnny and LaRusso were both similar kind of people. Really,
mm-hmm.
They're both kind of hot-headed and ready, always ready to fight and stuff. They're very similar people, and it's like you wanted them to get together and work together. You could see their connection.
Yeah.
And I think when now that's happened, that's kind of the big thing people were looking at happening. So it's like they've got to come up with something now that's going to keep that kind of, if they split them up too early, people go, oh, we waited all that time for them to get the dojos together,
that's
and now
true.
they
That's
just
true.
that same thing as that's the Luke Skywalker thing all over again with the throwing the lightsaber. You waited all
Yes.
that time to see this, and now they're just going to break him up straight away. I want to see that continue for a while. And I just want to see what they do with the characters, because
Yeah.
it's going to be
you're
that
right.
whole
Yeah,
Miyagi.
some of the best scenes in the show, really, are probably the best scenes in the show are when Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso are in the scene together.
Yeah.
When they're doing stuff together, it is probably the best the show does.
Even the little things when they're in the car listening to that rock music, and he was like, "Oh, you listen to that?" And he's like, "Well, who doesn't?" And you're like, "Oh, you can see them getting along, and it's going to be an interesting season. I think that. Oh, I hope they put a few surprises in there, things that we don't see coming, and I hope they introduce Terry Silver in early. I don't want to see him turn up at the end. I want a season of that guy doing ridiculous things.
I do, man. Because
I want to see him on the phone securing multi-million-dollar deals whilst hitting pads.
He's gonna be like, Jenkins, get the jet. We have to go to California. There's a karate tournament we need to win.
I loved that original movie. We were 10 minutes into in Karate Kid 3. He's on the phone at the same time making a ridiculously impossible deal. Like, okay, $5 million. Yeah, we'll take it. And then he's like, "Hi, Chris, we're gonna start a karate school and get LaRusso and crush him. But give me 1 second. I've got to make another $1 million deal." This sounds realistic.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how they bring him in. Oh, it's gonna be good.
Yeah. I mean, like when he broke into Mr. Miyagi's house, and they're talking about a billionaire taking time out of his day to break into an old man's house.
Not hiring goons to do it for him.
On a reconnaissance mission. And then turning up and pretending to be someone else. I think that, it's they're just such brilliant characters, aren't they? Like, I don't know how they've done it. Like, these people they're so terrible but so memorable. Like,
yes, yeah. Well, that's
not many.
They've taken dumb, boring, one-off characters and made them into people who we want to keep seeing where they go.
I mean, whoever wanted to see Kreese and all these, you would, if I said to you, Ben, that you said it before. Anyway, if I said to you 2 years ago again that you're going to be really excited about Terry Silver from Karate Kid 3 coming back into a TV show, you would literally impossible. I'm telling you, it's going to be the highlight of your year. That crazy guy that kept turning up to Mr. Miyagi's bonsai shop, destroying his trees, is coming back, and you better be ready for it.
Oh God,
it's going to make your year.
It is.
I tell you what,
go ahead.
With everything that's going on this year with the COVID thing, it has been Cobra Kai has been a shining light through the thing. And I tell you what, it's going to do wonder. Even though it's quite dark in terms of its violent martial arts, I think it's going to do wonders for our industry as well. It's just at the moment for us. Obviously, we're in full lockdown, and it's created so much conversation, and people are training because they're like, "Oh, I want to be like Miguel," and just silly things like that. And kids don't necessarily say that. I don't, but they watch it and they're clearly inspired by it. And
yes, yeah,
it's definitely given martial arts a more of a mainstream audience and more, make people more. It doesn't have any publicity for us. It's good publicity. We don't get none, So unless it's not crazy martial arts man with samurai sword kills free. This is the first time we're getting normal, real, cool youngsters, good-looking people, athletic people on TV, doing what we do and making it look good and telling a great story. And I think, for us, it's going to be
that's huge. Yeah,
it's just opening up the world again for us a little bit more. I know we don't necessarily do karate as such, but martial arts are martial arts, and
exactly,
I think that it's definitely going to, even in the school, just create that buzz and the buzz around what we do. And I think people that are using it to advertise are selling the right thing in some way. I don't like all that kind of stuff, but I do think that using it as a, hey, you guys have watched Cobra Kai, come and try martial arts. That kind of thing can happen as well.
You can do this.
We're going to get more people involved, and you might get a load of people like that. I want to be like, I want to turn it. You got a guy out there with no confidence watching Hawk go around with a massive mohawk, tattoos and beating the hell out of people. Like, that could be me.
The only downside is like, you're gonna hand them gloves and they're gonna be like, "What are these?"
Oh, fuck you. You just 5 fists, bare knuckle only.
How can I Cobra strike with this foam on?
It is brilliant. It's genius. It's genius. Like, some things just pop up at the right time, and I think it's revitalized my training. You know, like, no, just little things I watch. I watch Miguel and Johnny getting up and doing their sit-ups in the morning. I'm like, I used to do that. When I started training, I used to do that. When I started training, I used to do that. You know, like, that's how I felt when I started. It takes me right back to my first lesson. When in the first season, I literally, what they do with Miguel is perfect. He experiences everything that you would experience as a beginner. Like, and I feel like I literally get transformed. It makes me remember things that I've forgotten about when I started training, you know, and I just, it completely revitalized me and made me, you know, you say, like, as a good instructor, as a good student, and always remember when you started, why you started, and all that stuff, and how you used to feel when you did it. And I think it's easily forgotten with what we do when we're teaching all the time, and particularly at the moment with COVID as school owners, where we can't concentrate just on martial arts. We have to worry about the business side of it more than we ever have.
Yeah.
This has given me that feeling back where when I think about martial arts, I get that you know, when you first realize you love something.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I can remember what that was like when I went training. And I was like, I think it was on my first. With me, I think it was my first lesson where I went, and this is for me, you know. And then you get that buzz and you start feeling it. And I feel like when I watch Cobra Kai, I feel like that watching their classes, and I'm like, I feel like I would love to be in there. Like, I want to be in there. I feel like I'm back in there. Like, I remember my first classes, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm remembering things that I haven't thought about for 15 years, you know. And it's like fully like re-immersed me back into my own. I'm watching it, and I'm watching it and training. I don't just watch it. I train while I'm watching it.
Yeah.
I'm stretching while I'm watching it. I'm doing Cobra Kai. I'm being Cobra Kai while I'm watching Cobra Kai. You know, it's like it's made me. It's just take my training's gone right through the roof watching it. You know, and I think that if you are in a bit of a blip with your martial arts and stuff, getting that on is the best thing for you. You know,
it is. It's motivating.
It can get you back into it, no problem. You know, that is one of the things it's done for me, for sure. And as a teacher, like, just absolutely like my energy levels are right down. It's boosted me up to like max. You know, like, I feel like I just want to teach. I want to train. I just want martial arts all the time. Like, all I want to think about is martial arts. All I want to do is martial arts. I want to talk about is martial arts.
Yeah.
Which, with the last year, I mean, previously I've pretty much always been like that. But with the COVID thing, it's definitely been like, oh, you know.
Yeah.
And I think
Cobra Kai appreciate it.
Yeah. I've needed that, and it's come along at the right time. I think for all of us, it's come along. I've never heard or seen the martial arts community so together on one thing. Like, I don't know a single martial arts person that didn't watch the whole series on the first day.
Yeah, no, you're right.
When have we ever collectively been able to do that?
Yeah. You know, when have we ever agreed on anything?
Yeah, exactly. You're talking about people that argue 24/7, and here we are, all turning on like a common interest, and it's not the martial art that any of us do. I mean, if you do Tang Soo Do, isn't it? So if you do Tang Soo Do, then yeah. But for us, it's not what we do, or karate, or whatever it is that Daniel LaRusso does, it's like Okinawan Goju or something.
Yeah.
But like, you know, whatever, like, it's not what we necessarily do, but it's still.
It's the spirit of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, loved it. Absolutely loved it. And you know, talking about it I just got through a series again. I might start again tomorrow.
Oh yeah, there's definitely scenes in there that you can like watch over and over again. Like I'll pull up like the cement truck scene, or like, you know, any like the training montages in there and stuff like that.
The tournament scene, yeah.
Yeah.
And that guy's making his speech as well. That's brilliant. He's like, love, peace, and he's like, beat the hell out of this pansy.
Oh God, man! Yeah, if only if only we had like a, you know, an All Valley in real life. Like, that would just be like the perfect thing.
It's funny because they do it in a way where you would like a tournament to be done. When he introduces each school that's participating and stuff, that's awesome. That's such a great idea. Where do you ever go to a tournament and say, we've got Absolute representing, Maldonado representing, like, you know, and you don't ever get that where your guys get to run in? That would be so awesome. Like, what touch?
So, Yeah, I feel like that's probably not in English. That actually happens quite a bit at some of the local tournaments.
Does it?
Yeah, they're
We
like
don't get
opening
that ever.
ceremonies. I'll see,
I've never seen that ever.
and I hate them. I skip them.
Oh, really?
I'll show up intentionally late and tell my guys
I mean,
we're gonna show up at like 9:30 after all the opening ceremony stuff is done. We're just gonna come in here and win the fighting matches.
wow, you actually have that. We don't have that. I just thought it was really cool. We never get introduced. Like, I mean, like,
not at the big tournaments, not at the real business.
Yeah.
It's just like the small, tiny ones where like 6 or 7 schools will be there.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, how long would it take for each school to run through? 10
Not long.
minutes? 15 minutes tops. Like, you
Yeah,
could really, what a touch. If I did run a run a tournament, I would definitely start by doing that. You just run in with your guys. It would take 5 minutes. It'd be really cool. Like, and I think that was really cool. And I love the way when the lighting on the main mat is brilliant. And also, that guy was like, we need to change the mats to blue and gold.
Having a humongous meeting. Black and red is out.
Yeah. It was like, that's a badass name for a dojo.
Yeah. It is, man. It is. It's not what we do, but it's the closest thing to it that we do.
Yeah.
And it is. It makes
and it's close enough. It's close enough.
It is close enough.
The tournament style is what we do, isn't it? Really, we do sport karate. I know they're not doing exactly how we do it, but they are doing a points-based system.
Oh yeah,
which is something we don't have. Like, other than Best of the Best, I've never seen that on the TV before.
That's the only thing ever. The original Karate Kid movie.
yeah, but it just hits the spot in every way.
It is, man. Well,
I mean, we could talk about this forever, couldn't we?
We could.
I'm just watching a YouTube clip up right now where it's Stingray just steaming through the hallway.
You know what we'll do? What we should do? When season 4 comes out, we could easily do like an episode review, like each week.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Yeah,
we should probably. Yeah, that would be so cool.
So I'd be willing to do it.
Yeah, me too, man, for sure. We could publish it up on Facebook and things for people to follow. That'd be really good.
Oh yeah, that'd be perfect.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, well, man, I think that's a good place as any to start wrapping things up, man. I appreciate you coming on again.
You're welcome. I think I've been talking about 2 hours.
I know. It's easy to nerd out about this stuff, man. I love it.
Yeah, but this is prime retail for us. It doesn't get more.
Like my students don't get it, like none of them are like as passionate about it as I am.
Yeah, I don't. That's why we're such good friends, because I don't think that there's many people that are as passionate about it as us. I could talk martial arts all day, every day. I don't need to take a break.
Yes, yeah.
This conversation could definitely run all night.
It could. All right, well, man, I hope you guys get out of your lockdown soon. Hope you guys all stay safe over there, and I'll see you next time, man. All right, and thank you guys for listening. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
That was so fun.
That was.
So the conversation I needed.
Perfect.